arrived first, you arrived later, and you started in the evening at here, the restaurant. You recording me? Video recording?
No.
Video recording?
Video or audio?
Video. You had to tell me. All my hair has been. Then remember what we did? We met the next day instead of 9 at 10. And we drove south and we went to a place called Tel Lachish. And that's where I just went through. I wanted to break the drive, the long drive. So we stayed there. It was like an hour drive from here. And we went to this park, like a forest, little forest, and we look at this wall, and I give you the introduction about the city, and then we walked the ramp and saw the double gates. That was in the Judea, second most important town in the Judea kingdom. From there we continued to a place called Tel Sheva, the biblical town, the frontier of the Judea tribe, and we saw the well from the outside and the secret well from the inside, how we did it, really impressive, the UNESCO site. Then we drove to Ben Gurion tomb, and we walked to this beautiful lookout over the Tzin Valley.
And the name of that was Sde Boker?
Sde Boker.
Sde Boker.
Sde Boker. Boker is like a cowboy, and Sadeh is a field, like a cowboy field. And we went to the tomb of David Ben Gurion and his wife Paula. We looked over this beautiful Tzin Valley. We saw the river, which we were supposed to go and hike, and we didn't have time for that. And then we had lunch, late lunch. We stopped at Aroma. We had there like a coffee and a sandwich and stuff, and we drove to Mitzpe Ramon. And then we stayed 2 nights in Mitzpe Ramon. The next day we were just doing a camel ride and jeep tour and hummus lunch and Nana winery, and we made all these variety things in Mitzpe Ramon. Next day we drive. We went to the next morning. That was already Friday. We started at the Ramon Visitor Center, dedicated to Ilan Ramon and to the creator. And we saw this exhibition and the story about Ilan Ramon, and we continued driving, crossing the middle of the desert. And we went to this beautiful park named Timna. Stupid film, but beautiful park. About how they created the first copper mine in the world. Egyptian copper mine.
That was fun.
It was a good
It was cute. It was
It's
cute.
nice, and we walked up there and we saw those 5,000
the
years
hieroglyphics.
old carving
The
and picture
hieroglyphics.
on the walls.
Yeah.
Then we drove to the border and we crossed to Jordan. That was on Friday.
Oh yeah.
That's when you start having your experience with Abdullah.
It was very good.
And you stay Friday night in Petra, you travel Saturday in Petra, and Jacob and I came to pick you up around 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock from the border, and you spent the last night in Eilat.
That's right.
That was already Saturday. Sunday we drove along the Arava Valley without any break until we got to Masada. We got to the Dead Sea area and we toured Masada. After Masada we drove to the East Hotel Resort Hotel, and we spent the rest of the afternoon swimming, floating, massaging. Thank you for the massage, Charlie. I used yours. And we did a massage there, and swimming, and lunch, and everything. And that was already the eve of the Holocaust Day. Same night, Sunday, we arrived to Jerusalem, and we checked into the hotel. That was the
David Citadel.
David Citadel Hotel.
Abby.
And we are on Sunday. You're happy.
Sure.
Now we're talking about our tours.
You're
What
walking
we
my
did in the
dog.
last 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So that was Sunday. We arrived to Jerusalem, eve of Holocaust Memorial Day. Next day, that was Monday, we started by a beautiful lookout from the south point of Jerusalem, and we saw the city of David, the triangle, the city of David, the old city, the new city, the partition wall. We saw all of that. And then we went to city of David, where it all started, this triangle. And we walked through this impressive water system. And we talk about, you know, the dry tunnel, the wet tunnel. Remember, we walked through the wet tunnel, very impressive. And then we crossed. We took a shuttle halfway, and then we walked through the tunnel, which was the first sewage that we walked into. We walked through the sewage system until we reached Davison Center, Robinson Ark, and we talk about the meaning of the Western Wall and why it's so important, the wall for Judaism, 2,000 years of willingness, and next year in Jerusalem, all these things. And that was Davidson area. From Davidson area, we had this beautiful lunch. Remember?
No.
The bagel.
The bagel.
Begging for the bagel.
Begging for the bagel.
Begging for the bagel.
On the Western Wall.
Begging for the bagel.
So we had begging for the bagel on the Western Wall. And after that, we made it to the... Where did we eat after that, at the Western Wall? I think we finished there. Or did we go up to the Jewish quarter?
We did.
No,
go
we went
to-
up. We
yeah,
went up
went
to
the
Jewish quarter. We had coffee.
That's right.
We said that we had coffee. We were on our way to Mount Zion, and I
Yeah.
decided I'm
We
too
planned
tired
it.
and I'm not going to
That's
go to
right.
Mount Zion. So we just stopped there, and we returned to the hotel. Next day was already Tuesday. We started Tuesday in Yad Vashem. So we did the Holocaust Museum, and after Yad Vashem we had a falafel. Charlie bought us a falafel on the street.
They were delicious.
That was very good too. Those were very good.
And then we drove to, I think, the old city, and we went to
Yeah, we
the
went back.
Christian quarter.
That's right. That's
We
right.
went to the Christian quarter, and we walked through the bazaar and the market and the Christian quarter, and we had, that was the next day. That was the next day, because I remember we had lunch before the church, so that was the next day. So we went to Mount Zion and the Jewish quarter. We did the Cardo, I think at that time, the Jewish quarter, the Cardo, and Mount Zion, I think. Next day, we did Mount of Olives. We walked up from Mount of Olives. When the Mount of Olives is the lookout of Jerusalem from the east, and we walked down following Jesus' footsteps to the church that is called Dominus Flavit, the Master has cried, and then all the way down to Gethsemane Church and the tomb of Mary. Remember the cave that we
Yeah.
went down. Then Jacob came to pick us up, and we drove up to
David's tomb.
David's tomb in Mount Zion. That's when we did Mount Zion. We did David's tomb and the room of the Last Supper.
Oh yeah.
And from then we crossed it, and we went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. We had lunch, and that was that day.
Can I ask a question? Would anybody like wine or coffee? Our treat?